welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a 2015 Highlander, I believe. So customer stated that she hit a big pothole and now she's got some scraping out of the left front. So I just glanced in the wheel here and well, I'll show you.
I don't know if you can see that, but there's kind of like a brake pad or something kind of dislodged up in there.
So that's kind of odd. Let's bring it in and we'll see what's going on with it. I don't know if you can hear that, but she is scraping bad. All right, so here's kind of what I was trying to show you out in the parking lot there. There's a chunk of pad sitting right there. So let's pull these brakes apart and see what actually happened here. Whew. So that's the problem. Looks like it just became rusty and kind of came apart. It's like it delaminated itself. Let's get the bracket off here. Get the rotor off. Woo. She's tight. There's our noise. Grindy. We'll push these pistons back in the scalper here. You can tell it's going back pretty easy, so. I'm gonna chalk this one up to just some pads that are deteriorating. Got rusty, friction material came loose. Hitting a big pothole probably didn't help, but it's just gonna get a front brake job and we should be good to go. Get our pins out of here. I'll make sure that these are all freed up. All right, so we're gonna take a little brake grease and just wipe off the old grease. And we're just gonna lube these pins up. Make sure everything is nice and free. Little on this pin. Stick this guy back in here. That one feels good too. These pins need to be freed up, otherwise you get uneven pad wear. It'll actually seize up and then the caliper starts pushing the wrong way and starts binding up. Oops. Step one, remove the old grease. I keep on calling it grease. It's actually ceramic brake lube. All right, so that does it for that portion. We're gonna pull our shims out of here and get those replaced. The new shims will come with the new set of brake pads. Okay, so we got all our shims removed here. What I like to do is I just take a roll-lock wheel and just clean up all the places where those shims seat. So you can probably use like a file or something just to get in there and get the rust out of it, so the new shims will seat in there and you don't have pad binding up that way. So yeah, you can use a file, you could use whatever you have to get those cleaned up. All right, we got our new set of pads here. Looks like the box has been opened before. Got a little tape on there. Little wear indicators. These pads look a lot better than what came out. Alright, let's get our hardware opened up here. I'm not sure why they sent a separate bag for these when they're already in here. But oh well. So what I like to do is just take a little brake lube. I just lube up this section of the bracket, and nothing sits on here other than those shims, but I figure a little bit of the lube is going to prevent any corrosion from building up and causing issues down the road. Oops, that's the wrong one. Hope if I put it in the right spot. Alright, so those are in. Make sure they're all the way down. A little bit more brake lube in there. Alright, I'll get the other one done here. Alright, so we got some clips here that need to go on. These are kind of like a anti-rattle clip, whatever you want to call them. They just keep pressure on the pad so it's not fitting loose in there. Try and get these in here. Sometimes you're kind of, oops. Help if you put that on the right way. That is the correct way. Just have to get everything lined up and put in the correct order. So we have to actually slide the pad past these little clips, and sometimes they just get in the way with the anti-rattle clips here. So you just gotta push everything together, make sure that it fits together right. Sometimes you can put these in and then not get them inside the other shim. They'll actually sit out here, and that's the wrong way. And then it holds everything apart. It's not a good deal. So that's why I assemble everything on the bench here. These will actually go on after I get the caliper bracket bolted up. So we're using the gray armor plated rotors for this. Quick tip, there is anti-rusting agent on here that needs to be washed off. You can use like a brake clean, something like that. I'm going to put them in the parts washer, get them all washed up, and then we'll stick these on. Got our rotor washed up. Like I said, we put it in the parts washer. Got all the anti-rusting agent off there. Let's put it on. So we're going to put our bracket on now. So I did want to tell you, just a quick tip, these clips are meant to put downward pressure on this pad. If you get them in the wrong way, if you put them on the bottom, it's lifting the pad up, and every time you press the brake, you get this clicking sound. So make sure you put these in the right direction. There's a up and a down to put those. So as the wheel turns, rotor turns, you press on the brake and it's pushing just against this shim down here. Like I said, if you put it on the bottom, it's actually lifting this pad off this shim. You press on the brake, you could get a clicking noise or some kind of brake noise. So make sure you put those in right. And another tip, make sure you check your pads. They're not all the same. So they'll have like an inner or an outer. You got to watch to make sure that sometimes the casting nipples on them are different, so they don't only go in one side. So make sure you check your pads, that they fit properly. If they're all the same, they just go in like normal. All right, tighten those bolts up quick. So at this stage, we got our caliper ready here. The pistons are pushed back, and we're ready to put this on. Now what I like to do is, again, a little brake lube on the outside of the caliper here. I will actually put some on the inner pad here instead of putting it on the pistons and getting those all messed up. With just a light coat, it doesn't take much. We got our little springs to put in here. What these do, they're going to hold the pad apart. They're going to push outward on the pad, so they're not constantly dragging on the rotor, making noise, I guess. The only bad part is trying to get them in here and hold the pads in the bracket as you're putting the caliper on. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but just gotta hold everything together like that. And then we get our caliper twisted the right way. Make sure your hose is not twisted up here. And a couple bolts. All right, bolts are tight. Let me see if we can move our slides back and forth. Our caliper is moving just fine. Rotor needs to be seated up there. All right, we're ready to put the wheel back on and take it for a test drive. All right, we'll get this wheel torqued and we'll take it for a drive. All right. So we're getting ready to test drive this. Make sure after you do any kind of brake work like that, you depress the brake pedal until it becomes firm. Pistons are pushed back in that caliper, and you want to pump up the brakes so you basically don't back through your garage door. What is going on here? Traffic jam. Brakes are feeling real good, so we're back in business. Thanks again, guys, for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.